How do you do that? This is not the way to do that. So engaging students through finding meaningful activities that touch hearts and minds is what the work is about. And one of the things that we've seen, especially with college students, but also K-12, is if you stop teaching the provincial curriculum and start experiencing the curriculum, then suddenly learning bursts out in ways that just amaze you all the time. So you have to overcome the high school system to get back to real learning, which is what tends to go on in elementary schools. So we need to get back to that kind of spirit of engagement and excitement and thrill about what knowledge is and what learning is. Sure, it's not easy, and you can't do it for every component of everything you do, but you can think differently. I'll give you an example. When McMaster created their Faculty of Medicine, the first thing that they did was to scrap the old way of teaching medicine. And they said, you're going to start by working with patients. They said, but we haven't learned any medicine. You will. Right? So they go and, please take your clothes off and let's plod about for a bit. Oh, sorry, you're the bus driver. Right, okay. So they started working with patients, and they suddenly realized what it is they needed to know in order to find out how to help this patient. And their desire for learning was massively different from traditional medical students, just by changing the sequence in which you did the program. So how can you think differently about the experience of learning? It's not about content, because content we can get thousands of ways. It's about making it something that matters to me. It's about creating meaning from learning as a process. So I think that's one. I think if you think about that graph of OECD skills, one of the things we're going to need more of is how do I leverage a peer network to find out what it is I need to know. So rather than tell them, oh, it's all on page 19, ask them to write page 19. Get them to co-create whatever, however they want to do it, wikis, film, whatever. Get them to co-create their own textbook. Story. So the University of Regina hired me to teach in Île La Crosse in northern Saskatchewan, 7.5 hours north of Edmonton. So I drive across this frozen lake to this little native reserve, and I'm there to teach adolescent psych. Great, and I've got all these textbooks, and terrific. And I get in the room, and there's 9 students there. And I go around the class and just tell me your name and tell me something about yourself. First girl said, this is my name. I am 19, I have 4 children. And we went around the group, and between them I worked out their adolescence lasted about 18 minutes. And I had 9 weeks to go, so what the hell am I going to do? We decided that these textbooks didn't represent their lives at all. It had nothing to do with them. There were some elements of this that they could think about and reflect on and think about what it meant for them, and in a sense what they could have experienced if they'd have lived in another place, but valued their own experience. So we wrote, our project we decided was to write a textbook of Aboriginal adolescent psychology that they owned and meant something to them, and they would illustrate it with video and film, they would illustrate it with drawings, they would illustrate it with elders talking about how it's different now from. It was fantastic. I mean, it was one of the best learning experiences. And these kids, these young students of mine, became passionate about learning. So, and I taught adolescent psych. All the concepts were the same. We just made them meaningful to them. So, but they used their peers. All of a sudden, they're peer networked right through that community with other Aboriginal communities, with elders and others. So again, more peer-to-peer learning. There's a fantastic preoccupation in colleges with time. Is this a standard 3-credit class? What is this bullshit? This whole notion of, a class has to be 30 hours, it's just bullshit. Class is whatever you decide to make it. So let's focus on outcomes. Here are the outcomes you need from this class. You can get them anywhere you want. This is what I'm going to be doing to help you get these outcomes. If you can get these faster, just tell me and we'll do an outcome assessment on that outcome. If you can do it in an hour and a half, terrific. Athabasca University, where I worked for 15 years, but I'm okay now. No, I've got these tablets they give you when you leave. Here's the deal. Undergraduate studies. Enroll at the beginning of every month, whenever you want, enroll. When you're ready, call for the exam. If you want to challenge this course, fine, that's great. Challenge it. If you want to challenge part of this course, great. So we don't care about time. In fact, the only admission criteria is will your check bounce? We have no other undergraduate admission criteria. None of this high school diploma is not a predictor of success. The predictor of success is motivation. So stop thinking about admission conditions, get them in, get them learning, get them out. And I think this outcome-based assessment thing, which we used to do in the community colleges back in the 60s, the DACOM process, is back where we're going to go again. So here's the lesson. Never throw anything away. You're going to need it again eventually. Kentucky does this. They've decided that you can enroll basically at the beginning of any week in every course in the community college system. They've stopped talking about a standard 3-credit course. You can have 1 credit, 2 credits, 3 credits, 5 credits. They can have courses of 3, 5, 6, 8 weeks. They don't care. Everything is available online, but there's also experiential project-based sessions in a building like this. Students start 48 weeks of the year, so there are lots of different start dates. The instruction is done largely online, but everybody has attached to a mentor, a guide, and a coach for that course. And they're available during office hours to support learning. They're partnered with Pearson to do their digital text resource and simulations. What the colleges have been able to do that are partnering here is double their intake with the same staff and same cost structure. So actually, they're twice as profitable. So it's a different kind of way of thinking. They are unionized. They do have collective agreements. Bit of a problem initially because the staff thought, oh, this is going to kill jobs. It actually didn't. It actually saved a hell of a lot of jobs in Kentucky. So more work-based learning, more credits for different kinds of things, more transfer credits, being able to transfer credit from anywhere in the world. So give some thought to this for a minute. The Bologna process in the European Union, 27 countries at the moment. Sorry. No, I'm just thinking how many countries might be left. All agreed some years ago to collaborate on integrating the education systems throughout Europe. And so they went from patchy transfer credits to total transferability from any course anywhere in Europe at any time. That's what they're moving towards. They're not there yet, but in a decade they've done more than we've done as a nation in 50 years. So it's possible, but you have to have a will to do it. And you have to have a registrar that lets you. Is the registrar in the room? Oh, good. No, I have a theory about registrars. They're all the people who fail the police exams, you know. Hey, I told you I wasn't politically correct. I don't care. So what are you going to do to speed up and enable more and more transfer credit, more and more work-based learning so people can make sense of their lives? I think we're going to have more different routes to the same diploma or certificate or degree. So there isn't just a route that we have. 50% has to be done in the college. Why? It's a restrictive trade. Oh, I see. So let's think differently about how we get to the end point here. It's not your degree, it's theirs. So how do you want to learn and earn this credential? It's all about outcome. So I think there's some big change ahead, and I think this leads to some issues around the nature of workspaces. So this is the bit you've been waiting for, right? So actually, if you're ever in San Francisco, see if you can get into the Googleplex, which is where this photograph was taken. They have a very stimulating creative environment. I didn't see a pool table anywhere in the building so far. I haven't seen cubby holes where I can just go and do some bit of work on my own. This is the kind of, let's have classrooms. Well, where's my personal workspace as a student? I want a dedicated space I can leave things in, plug in, do what I want to do, learn. I need this space for project activity and peer networking and peer group work and some instruction, but I actually need a personal space to work in. So where's that? Where's a space where I can go have fun? Most innovation takes place in restaurants, bars, coffee shops. Takes place by mixing people up that don't normally meet. So, you know, you have nice air, or all of the business stuff is in the business wing, and all the catering stuff is over here. Why do restaurants fail? Because they have no business skills. Get these two mixed up. Think about physical space as flexible. Somebody was telling me this morning, we have a rule here, 2 rules about space. One is every room is available to anybody to book at any time, and the other rule is you can't book the room because somebody else has already got it. This is why I used to treat schizophrenics and depressive, right? No college I've ever been to looks like fun from a spatial point of view. So where's that? So I think the new college will have lots of individual workspaces. We'll have lots of grand challenge areas where the college as a whole has decided one of our missions in life will be to reduce water consumption in Vancouver. So everywhere you go in the college, there's a project going on from the catering school, from the nurses, from the arts faculty, from the business guys about water. And there's displays on the wall. These are nice photographs, but I'd rather see some project work on the wall that shows me what difference you've made to Vancouver as a city. I'd like to see project work that shows me what difference you've made to the housing industry, to the agricultural industry, to the food and beverage industry. What difference have you made? I think you will have, anywhere I go, I should be able to plug in and run some kind of technology. It doesn't matter what it is. So you need an IT department that isn't like, you know, part of the SS. You know, you need an IT department that enables and facilitates rather than stops. Sure, there are issues around, you know, integrity of systems, and I understand all that. But the trick is to enable, not to prevent. And I think there's many IT shops, and I'm not talking about yours because I don't know anything about it, though I've been told you've got a really gifted kind of team here. But I've been in colleges where you can't do a damn thing if you've got a good idea. Yeah, we had a good idea once, but we soon put a stop to that. I think we'll have a different view of what residency is. I don't care. Athabasca has a degree where you just have to take one course from Athabasca to get the degree, the Bachelor of General Studies degree, because the whole point of lifelong learning is it shouldn't matter. But, oh, we're imperialists, and we're colonialists. You have to do 50% of your qualification here. You can't transfer that kind of thing in here. It's work-based. We don't take that. Well, get real. Live in my world. You want to increase your student numbers? Think differently about what learning is. And I think we have to find partnerships with all sorts of sectors, in particular the private sector, college sector, big business here in town. I've got lots of connections to Spatial, and they do great work. Partner with them. You need to partner with the non-profits. You need to partner with the professional association. You need to partner with anybody that's got a commitment and interest in learning. So I think we're into a new kind of space. And I think you need to think about how you do this in a way that doesn't cheese off the faculty. Strange group of people, faculty members. I used to be one, you know, proudly tenured, but I gave my tenure back because I thought it got in the way of me doing good work. So interesting, I was president of the union at the time. Not too popular at Move. But I pointed out, no, I can't think of another business that's got so much protection for employment. And then there's this stuff about academic freedom, which just drives me up the wall. So academic freedom is right in terms of what it is and how it is I teach. But yeah, I don't have the freedom to do nothing. I don't have the freedom to actually make it difficult for my learners to learn. So there are implied responsibilities as well as freedoms. So Viktor Frankl used to say that the Statue of Liberty on the East Coast should be matched by a Statue of Responsibility on the West, and I think that's kind of right. So how can the faculty feel ownership of the future and be partners with the institution about developing that future? I think that's not easy, but I think it's doable. But collective agreements often get in the way. So I'll end with this quote from Yogi Berra, who's a great guy, so the future isn't what it used to be. Yogi also said, when you come to the fork in a road, take it. Thank you very much. Thank you.